Hi, sixth grade. Welcome to math this year. For those who don't know me, I'm Mrs. Lindquist. I'll do a video with myself in it from time to time. But for right now, I wanted to practice going over what a typical day is going to look like for you guys. So I had put this on our Google Classroom, and I'm not sure if anybody got a chance to look at it, but I wanted to point it out to you so that you did take the time to take a look at it if you haven't already. But I want to start with supplies here. Since we're going to dive right into your book, I really want to make sure you have the right things. So you are going to need a binder, and dividers are going to help you stay organized, but it's going to be on you to decide what you want to, whether you're going to use a spiral for your notes. If you're not, then you might want to use a divider so that you have a note section and you have a homework section. You're going to need lots of pencils, lots of paper, and you're going to need your textbook. We will be using some graph paper in the end of the year. So if you have some, that'll be great. And if not, you've got plenty of time. All right, so I'm going to get started with our notes. So if you have paper, go ahead and get it out. If not, maybe pause and grab some of those materials we were just talking about. We're going to get started right away. Okay, so in your textbooks, I am on page 4, which is chapter 1, lesson 1. So again, if you need to pause this video and grab, maybe you want to grab your book so you can follow along. Maybe you just want to do notes. At the end, when we're done going over the lesson, you guys are going to send me a picture of your notes that need to match mine. So you need to be taking notes with me, okay? So far I have 1-1 for chapter 1, lesson 1. You need to write that also. I have the title of this lesson, which is Properties of Operations. You need to be writing that down. I have the page and the date because I find that helpful for organization. The first thing we're going to look at today is the properties for the operations of addition and multiplication. Okay, so I started by writing, this is straight from your book on page 4 and 5, the properties of addition. Okay, so I'm going to write that up here. Addition, and then multiplication. So I'm going to use the plus sign for addition and the multiplication sign for multiplication. That way I don't have to write them out over and over again. So I'm going to do properties of addition on the left side, and I'm going to do the properties of multiplication on the right side. Okay? So the first one is the commutative property, and both addition problems and multiplication problems use the commutative property. If you look in the book, it says this has to do with the order, okay? So changing the order of the addends does not change the sum. If we pick a problem to try to show, we could say that 4 plus 5 is the same thing as 5 plus 4. So in addition, the order doesn't matter. Okay? One way to remember this is sort of like commutative is like commuting, right? Like back when we used to go to school, we would drive from our home to school, which, you know, maybe is 2 miles. And then we would drive at the end of the day, we would commute from school back to our home. Okay, that is still 2 miles. It's still the same distance. So the commutative property is just changing the order, okay? But the answer, the sum, it does not change. We also have the commutative property of multiplication. The same thing applies. Changing the order of the, do you remember what they're called when we multiply? The numbers are called factors. So changing the order of the factors does not change. Do you remember what the answer is called? It's product. Product. So it does not change the product. And we could use the same numbers, right? The same numbers as an example. 4 times 5 is the same thing as 5 times 4, right? 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Commutative. Commutative has to do with the order, okay? Okay. Next up, we're going to take a look at the associative property. Go ahead and pause this and write this down in your notes.